Enough is enough. New York City, Chicago, even Seattle, and most importantly, Portland. Enough is enough. The looting, the violence, the rioting is out of control, and these cities are not doing anything about it. Now, Trump wanted to send in the National Guard, and they're beefing with him over it because they don't want him to do that. And they shouldn't need him to do that because these cities have sophisticated police forces and they are more than capable of handling the situation by themselves. Now, if they need help, I understand they hate Trump, but if they need help, then I still feel that there's nothing wrong to ask the federal government for it. Look, these are liberal cities, so the last thing they want to do is look like they're cooperating with Trump, especially if they're getting troops in there to go against the rioters. Fine. If you're not going to do anything about it yourselves, why not at the very least condemn publicly and speak out against the rioters yourselves? Why not do that? And my guess is because they're afraid that it'll compromise the 2020 election. If that is the case, and it probably is, then that is totally messed up because you're going to allow cities to burn and people to die all for an election? Yes, there are people that don't like Trump, but they don't like what's going on in their cities either. And these are liberal cities, so the same people that don't like Trump might actually switch to the other side because they'll assume that the Democrats can't do anything. The Democrats can't take control or stabilize a city, so how can they be trusted on a federal level at the White House? So whatever the agenda is of these leaders in these unstable cities, it is extremely counterproductive. What is interesting to me is that the leaders of these cities are saying there's nothing wrong with these so-called protests. Even if they're violent and destructive, this is just a response, a normal response, because of all the injustice that is happening. Yet, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot called the police on peaceful protesters because they were near her home and she felt that her life was in jeopardy. So you also got people arrested, and that's okay. But when it happens to somebody else, like the McClowskys, they have every right to get criticized. There was a mob that broke the gate and entered private property. And whether they were peaceful protesting or not, look, a couple like that, they watch what's going on in the news, they see all the rioting and they see the destruction and they got scared, they felt intimidated, so they took out a gun and they wanted to protect themselves. But that's a whole nother conversation. At least they didn't shoot at anybody. Thank God they didn't shoot at anybody, but that's a whole nother conversation. But the point is, people like that get criticized. And then Lori Lightfoot criticizes people for, criticizing protesters, yet she calls the police on protesters. And they were peaceful, and she got people arrested. So what I'm getting from all this, that it's okay when things happen to people as long as it's not to them. Okay, and these are the same politicians that say they claim that they care about their people. Now, politicians like that and celebrities too claim, hey, we have to defund, even dismantle the police. But these people are in privilege. They have money and power to get security, to hire people to protect them. How about us average people that don't have that same privilege? And we know that dismantling the police is a disaster based on what happened in, Seattle's chop zone.